Hi, everybody. Oh, I'm just back from another run here, and whoopsies. And I thought I would just pop on and just share a few thoughts. I was at a conference on Monday and Tuesday for the Canadian Mental Health Association, the Alberta Provincial Association, and I think many people are perhaps aware that yesterday Spade committed suicide. And I think what I really don't know what it's going to take for people to understand that there is a silent epidemic going on. Mental health, mental illness is a silent struggle often. And while the flurry of discussion increases around the time after a celebrity or someone who's deemed successful takes their own life, what that always highlights to me is that the answer to happiness does not lie in outward success. Suicide knows no boundaries. Suicide does not discriminate against your societal status. Suicide does not discriminate against your race, against the color of your skin, against the job description that you have, against your gender, against your age. This is happening and affecting everybody from very young ages to very old ages. At the conference, and first of all, also, I'll say this, I am so saddened to hear about Kate Spade. I don't have any Kate Spade things. I'm not a materialistic person. Not that if you own Kate Spade or understand Kate Spade or have or love Kate Spade, that means you're materialistic. I'm not saying that, but I am saying I have appreciated her business acumen. I have appreciated her artistry, and a little, one of the things when I was making my career change, I actually considered going into fashion. I love the artistry of design. But I've been told my whole life or I've told myself, and I heard from an outside family influence, a neighbor actually, that I wasn't creative when I was 4 or 5 years old. And I took that to mean that I'm not creative. So I've always told myself that I'm not that. But I digress. So I extend my heartfelt condolences to Kate's daughter, to her family, to her husband. And so what I want to mention here is, I am a suicide survivor. There's a suicide attempt that I haven't spoken about yet. There's a few, actually, that I haven't spoken about. And I'm not sure that now is the right time to talk about them, but I will say that the most recent one was by the same fate as Kate Spade, and it was something that I plan to discuss, but not in this video at the moment. But I guess what I want to say is, and what I learned at the conference is, Canada is one of the G7 countries, and guess how much money we spend on mental health in terms of how we rank in the G7 countries. Do you think that we're first place? Second place? What place do you think we rank? I mean, this is Canada. What place do you think we rank? We're last. Canada spends the least amount on mental health than any other G7 country. And I'm at this conference, and I am the only naturopathic doctor there. And what was really striking to me is at one of the speakers asked for a show of hands for the different professions, the healthcare professions. And she said, are you a nurse? Are you a occupational therapist? Are you a psychiatric nurse? Are you a community mental health worker? Are you a psychologist? Are you a psychiatrist? Are you a medical doctor? Nobody mentioned naturopathic medicine. Nobody asked, are you a naturopathic doctor? So we have over 2,000 naturopathic doctors that are available to help. And the biggest hurdle that I heard and that I hear all the time is money. The fact that we have a two-tiered health system in Canada. There's the public system that we all pay into with our taxes, and that our medical doctors and a lot of the medical professionals are paid through. And then there's the others, like naturopathic doctors and psychologists, who are paid out of pocket. But there's more coverage for psychology often than there is for naturopathic medicine. So this isn't, I'm only one person. This is not going to change by me alone. It's going to change by you asking for the change. We all need to be asking for us to be included so that people have access to our services. And we also need people to understand that you have to value your health, your mental health, equally as your physical health. This is not an option. This is not an elective thing that you need to be paying attention to. This is life and death on a daily basis. And so while Kate Spade is somebody a lot of people recognize her name, it's your person next door. It's the person three cubicles down from you. It's the person behind you in the grocery lineup. This does not discriminate. So Michael Pollan, I recently heard him say that since 1950, there has been very few discoveries in mental health. Since the SSRI medication drugs came on board with Prozac, and I don't know the exact dates. I want to say 1970. Could be off there, but since then there has been no other advances in mental health. And in fact, the amount of spending towards mental health has gone down, and the incidence has gone up. It's the only health condition or health group. So every other health group, heart disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes, every other health group has had more money thrown at it, and the incidences and survival outcomes have improved since 1950. Mental health has had less money spent on it and more incidences. So in my mind, this is a problem. And we have to understand that this is an inside problem. The inner critic that we all have, I know that I have. I'm working on my inner critic. And the conversation that is going on inside our heads is the conversation that needs to come outside into the public forum. And that is where the solutions will come from. They will spring forth from there. But keeping it all locked up in here, thinking that you're worthless, that you're no good, that you can't do it, that your breath is not worth the breath, you're not worth, the air that you're breathing. This is the problem that needs to be fixed. And I think that we have to really continue to offer the support of the profession of naturopathic medicine. It is one of the key solutions here to this problem. The other sort of out there view that I have is that sometimes we get stuck, and it's like our ego wants to go north and our soul wants to go south, and we feel pulled in these two different directions. We don't know which master to listen to. We don't know which voice to listen to. Often the voice of fear, the voice of reason, the voice of our ego, the voice of our suffering is the one that is in command. And the voice the voice of self-doubt, the voice of self-criticism. These are the voices that are taking hold in most people's minds. But underneath all of that, there's a deeper sense of self. And you won't find it necessarily through medication. You will find it through stillness. You will find it in your own self, underneath the waves of the turbulence that are going on in the surface of your mind. So this idea that I'm talking about was first taught to me by my naturopathic doctor, Dr. Jason Hughes. If you're in the Lower Mainland area, everybody should be calling him. Everybody should be calling him. Everybody should be calling him. Dr. Jason Hughes. He's not the only one, though. There's many. Dr. Larry Chan in Vancouver, his daughter, now it's his second generation naturopathic doctor. There's many naturopathic doctors that can help you. I am not the only one either. But I didn't get to the place of healing I got to the place of healing through that process of getting still, of paying attention to the thoughts that were in my mind and to questioning every single one of them, to challenging every single thought I had. You do not have to believe every thought you have, and every thought you have is not true. So it's not that suicidal thoughts never come to me. In fact, these last few weeks for me, I've been kind of down, to tell you the truth. A little bit down because of an outside event that happened. And that is that my book, Beyond the Label, I got news from my publisher that it's actually not selling very well. So where did I go with that? I went to the place of the self-critic. I went to the place of, I suck, the book sucks, I have nothing to say, this isn't helping people. Oh my God, I'm going to get fired. I'm a failure. That's the space that I was in. But the thing is, I said to my husband, in the past, I would have stayed in that state for a long time. Days, weeks, months, years even. This time, 12 hours, boom, done, chucked it, gone. So back to my center of myself, back to the breath. So here's the thing. Sometimes we get stuck because we're following what's called our ego or our false self. But our true self lies underneath that. It lies underneath that. And you can get there. You can get there. Let your breath guide you there. If you're constantly worrying about this or that, whether you're going to have enough money, or whether you're going to get the job, or whether you're going to do well on the exam, whether you're going to get chosen for that athletic team, that type of thinking is all future-based, and you don't live in the future. You live here, right now, with me, on this call. If you're on this call or this video with me now, live, this is all we have. This moment, right here, right now. And if you're bringing into this moment the past, this person did that to me. Why did I do that? I have all these regrets. Why isn't he talking to me? Man, I wish I had made this choice over that choice. If you're bringing the past into the present moment, then you're living in the past. And that is an illusion in your mind. The past does not exist anymore. We need to let go of that and come back to just this moment. And actually, in this moment, with this breath, there are no problems. There are no problems. So, I just wanted to hop on and share that I am saddened to hear about Kate Spade, but you know, at the conference, the woman beside me, I had a poster presentation. The woman beside me lost her son to suicide. And she's out there. And she was promoting a book that another woman had wrote called Bullyicide. Bully, Bullyicide. Her son was bullied, and he ended up committing suicide. And this is happening. You know, I have a little 8-year-old patient that came to see me the other day. She's being bullied. The schools aren't going to solve this for you. The teachers aren't going to solve this for you. You have to be there for your children. And I'm not saying that if your child commits suicide, that you weren't there for them. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying the conversations that are going on inside the head of young people needs to come out into the open. And there's a lot of shame and there's a lot of stigma about the thoughts that we have. And I always say to my patients, if what you're saying to yourself, you would never say to somebody else, you would not say to your 5-year-old self, or to your 5-year-old for that matter, if you would not speak to them in the way you're speaking to yourself in your own head, why are you doing it now? You need to stop. That's the conversation that needs to be had, and that's the conversation that needs to change inside somebody. Yes, you need to eat right. Yes, you need to exercise. And yes, you need to get the right amount of sleep. But we have to look at our thoughts, our emotions, how we behave and react in the world. We need to learn to respond from a place of calm, centered stillness, instead of turbulent reactivity, explosiveness, being triggered by every little thing somebody says. We need to pause. We need to create space. We need to extend our hands in grace. So I will leave you with that. So again, if you haven't done this, this is similar to what I said in one of my other videos. Make that call. And if you've listened to this and you're struggling, call 911. Go to the hospital. Go to emergency. Call the hotline, the suicide hotlines. Flood those phone lines. Flood those hospitals. Let them be overpopulated. Let them see that there's a need. Don't suffer in silence. Do not suffer in silence. I did that for a decade. Suffered in silence. And it wasn't worth it.